meet again, in thunder, lightning, or in rain.
When the hurly-burly's done, when the battle's lost and won.
That will be ere the set of sun.
Where the place?
Upon the heath.
There to meet with Macbeth.
I come, Grey Malkin.
Paddock calls.
Anon.
Fair is foul, and foul is fair.
Hover through the fog
and fill the
air.
But why would they say that we are mad? The disease will sharpen our senses, not destroy them, not dull them. We see all things in heaven and in the earth.
I heard many things in hell. How then are we mad? Observe how healthily, how calmly we can tell you the whole story.
Upon a field near Forres, two armies rage and fight. On the one side sits Duncan, the King of Scotland. On the other, the rebel army, led by the merciless MacDonald, aided by the King of Norway.
The Scottish king, King Duncan, is joined by his daughter Malcolm. Malcolm has newly escaped capture from the rebel foe. She sits alongside her father, watching how the battle unfolds.
Leading the armies of the Scottish king fights brave Macbeth. Well, he deserves that name. Macbeth carves out his passage through the fray until he faces the rebel MacDonald. Their fight is quick, and Macbeth is never kinder to the rebel than when he cleaves his head from his shoulders.
Now this is the point that becomes rather tricky. Just as Macbeth had put MacDonald to rest, a twist in the plot descends. The Scottish Thane of Cawdor, once loyal to the King of Scotland, traitorously upends their plans and emerges alongside the King of Norway, springing a new attack.
Norway himself, with terrible numbers, assisted by the disloyal traitor, the Thane of Cawdor, began a fresh assault.
Now you may think that Macbeth drew back, but no, brave Macbeth would not be bent. Disdaining fortune with his brandished steel, he fought those newly sent. Point against point, arm against arm, Macbeth curbed their lavish spirit.
Unswayed by the onslaught, Macbeth and his armies beat back the forces of Norway.
The victory fell on Macbeth. The traitorous Thane of Cawdor is captured.
Upon this news, King Duncan, so enthralled with glee, calls out, "Of the Thane of Cawdor, pronounce his present death, and with his former title, greet Macbeth."
Where hast thou been, sister?
Killing swine.
Sister, where thou?
A sailor's wife had chestnuts in her lap, and munched and munched and munched. Give me, quoth I. Aroint thee, witch, the rump-fed Ranyan cried. Her husband's to Aleppo gone, master of the tiger. But in a sieve I'll thither sail, and like a rat without a tail, I'll do, and I'll do.
I'll give thee wind.
Thou'rt kind.
And I another.
I myself have all the other. I will drain him dry as hay. Sleep shall neither night nor day. Hang upon his penthouse lid, it shall be a man forbid. Though his bark cannot be lost, it shall be tempest tossed. Look what I have.
Show me, show me.
Here I have a pilot's thumb. Wrecked as homeward he did come.
A drum, Macbeth doth come.
The weird sisters, hand in hand, hosters of the sea and land, thus do go about, thrice to nine, and thrice to nine, and thrice again to make up nine. Peace,
The
charms wound
up.
So foul and fair a day I've not seen.
How far is it called to forest? What are these? So withered and so wild in their attire, they look not like the inhabitants of the earth, and yet are on it. Live you, or are you aught that man may question? You seem to understand me. I each at once, her chappy finger laying upon her skinny lips. You should be women, and yet your beards forbid me to interpret that you are so.
Speak if you can. What are you?
All hail, Macbeth. Hail to thee, Thane of Glamis.
All hail Macbeth. Hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor.
All hail Macbeth. Thou shalt be king hereafter.
Good sir, why do you start and seem to fear things that do sound so fair? In the name of truth, are ye fantastical, or that indeed which outwardly ye show? My noble partner, you greet with present grace and great prediction of noble having and of royal hope that he seems wrapped withal. To me you speak not. If you can look into the seeds of time and say which will grow and which will not, speak then to me, who neither begs nor fear your favors nor your hate.
Hail,
Hail.
Hail.
lesser than Macbeth, and greater.
Not so happy, yet much happier.
Thou shalt get kings, though thou be none. So all hail Macbeth and Banquo.
Banquo and Macbeth, all hail.
Stay, you imperfect speakers. Tell me more. By Sinel's death, I know I'm Thane of Glamis. But how of Cawdor? The Thane of Cawdor lives, a prosperous gentleman, and to be king stands not within the prospect of belief, no more than to be Cawdor. Say from whence you owe this strange intelligence. Speak, I charge you!
Whither are they vanished?
Into the air, and what seemed corporal melted as breath into the wind. Would they had stayed?
Were such things here as we do speak about? Or have we eaten upon the insane root that takes the reason prisoner?
Your children shall be kings,
You shall be king.
and Thane of Cawdor too, went it not so?
To the selfsame tune and words. Who's there?
The king hath happily received, Macbeth, the news of thy success. For I am sent from our royal master to give thee thanks. He bade from me call thee Thane of Cawdor, in which addition, hail, most worthy Thane, for it is thine.
What, can the devil speak true?
The Thane of Cawdor lives. Why do you dress me in borrowed robes?
Who was Thane lives yet, but under heavy judgment bears that life which he deserves to lose. His treasons, capital, confessed and proved, have overthrown.
Glamis and Cawdor. Do not you hope your children shall be kings, when those that gave the Thane of Cawdor to me promised no less to them?
That trusted home might yet enkindle you onto the crown besides the Thane of Cawdor. But 'tis strange. And oftentimes, to win us to our harm, the instruments of darkness tell us truths, win us with honest trifles, to betray us in deepest consequences. Cousin, a word, I pray you.
Two truths are told. Cannot be ill, cannot be good. If ill, why hath it given me earnest of success, commencing in a truth? I am Thane of Cawdor. If good, why do I yield to that suggestion whose horrid image doth unfix my hair and make my seated heart knock at my ribs against the use of nature? Present fears are less than horrible imaginings. My thought, whose murder is yet but fantastical, shakes so my single state of man that function is smothered and nothing is what is not. If chance will have me king, why chance may crown me without my stir of use.
Worthy Macbeth, we wait upon your leisure.
Give me your favor. My dull brain was wrought with things forgotten. Let us toward the king. Think upon what hath chanced, and at more time, the interim having waited, let us speak our free hearts each to other.
Very gladly.
Till then, enough. Come, friends.
As the battle ends, so emerge both Banquo and Macbeth. They go to greet the Scottish king to show their deep respect.
Upon their arrival, King Duncan speaks to them with joy, imparting forth his gratitude as payment for this war.
Quickly, though, he names his eldest Malcolm as prince, and Macbeth, when hearing this, cannot help but wince.
To himself Macbeth doth say, that princely title must fall down, or else he'll overleap the prince to gain himself the crown.
For heavy thoughts do plague Macbeth with deep and dark desires. Their prophecies might fill with truth, or else be told by liars.
From this meeting Macbeth leaves forth to his home of Inverness. Duncan, Ross, Malcolm, and Banquo follow him in suit for jubilation and for rest.
They met me in the day of success, and I have learned by the perfectest report they have more in them than mortal knowledge. When I burned in desire to question them further, they made themselves air into which they vanished. Whilst I stood wrapped in the wonder of it, came missives from the king, who all hailed me Thane of Cawdor, by which title before these weird sisters saluted me, and referred me to the coming on of time. With hail, king, that shalt be. This have I thought good to deliver thee, my dearest partner of greatness, that thou mightst not lose the dues of rejoicing by being ignorant of what greatness is promised thee. Lay it to thy heart, and farewell. Glamis thou art, and Cawdor, and shalt be what thou art promised, yet I do fear thy nature. It is too full o' the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way. Thou wouldst be great, not without ambition, but without the illness should attend it. What thou wouldst highly, thou wouldst holily, wouldst not play false, and yet wouldst wrongly win. Thou'st have great Glamis, that which cries, thus thou must do if thou have it, and that which rather thou dost fear to do than wishest be undone. Hie thee hither, that I may pour my spirits in thine ear, and chastise with the valor of my tongue all that impedes thee from the golden round, which fate and metaphysical age doth seem to have thee crowned. The king comes here tonight. The raven himself is hoarse that croaks the fatal entrance of Duncan under my battlements. Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here, and fill me from the crown to the toe-top full of direst cruelty. Make thick my blood, and stop up the access and passage of remorse, that no compunctuous visitings of nature shake my fell purpose, nor keep peace between the effect and it. Come to my woman's breast, and take my milk for gall, you murdering minsters. Wherever in your sightless substances you wait on nature's mischief. Come, thick night, and pall thee in the dunnest smoke of hell, that my keen night see not the wound it makes, nor heaven peep through the blanket of the dark to cry, hold, hold! Great Glamis, worthy Cawdor, greater than both by the all-hail hereafter. Thy letters have transported me beyond this ignorant present, and I feel the future in the instant.
My dearest love, Duncan comes here tonight.
And when goes hence?
Tomorrow, as he purposes.
Oh, never shall sun that morrow see. Your face, my Thane, is as a book where men may read strange matters. To beguile the time, look like the time. Bear welcome in your eye, your hand, your tongue. Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under. He that's coming must be provided for, and you shall put this night's great business into my dispatch, which, to all our days and nights to come, gives solely sovereign sway and masterdom.
We will speak further.
Only look up clear. To alter favor ever is to fear. Leave all the rest to me.
Outside the castle of Inverness, King Duncan arrives with Prince Malcolm, Banquo, and Lord Ross. Lady Macbeth is there to greet them.
Where's the Thane of Cawdor? The king asks.
Where is Macbeth?
He waits inside, the lady replies.
Conduct me to him, the king says. We love him highly.
Lady Macbeth shows them into the chambers. In the enthusiasm of her confidence, she brings chairs into the room and desires them to rest from their fatigues, while she herself withdraws to find her husband.
If it were done when 'tis done, then 'twere well it were done quickly. If the assassination could trammel up the consequence and catch with his surcease success, that but this blow might be the be-all and the end-all here. But in these cases upon this bank and shoal of time, we'll jump the life to come. But in these cases we still have judgment here, that we would teach bloody instructions, which, being taught, return to plague the inventor. This even-handed justice commends the ingredients of our poisoned chalice to our own lips. He's here in double trust. First, as I'm his kinsman and his subject, strong both against the deed. Then, as his host, who should against the murderer shut the door, not pare the knife myself. Besides, this Duncan hath borne his faculties so meek, hath been so clear in his great office, that his virtues will plead like angels, trumpet-tongued against the deep damnation of his taking off. And pity, like a naked newborn babe, striding the blast, or heaven's cherubim, horsed upon the sightless couriers of the air, shall blow the horrid deed in every eye, that tears shall drown the wind. I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, but only vaulting ambition, which o'erleaps itself and falls on the other. How now? What news?
He's almost supped. Why have you left the chamber?
Hath he asked for me?
Know you not he has.
We will proceed no further in this business. He hath honored me of late, and I have bought golden opinions from all sorts of people, which would be worn now in their newest gloss, not cast aside so soon.
Was thou drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Hath it slept since, and it wakes now to look so green and pale at what it did so freely? From this time such I account thy love. Art thou afeard to be the same in thine own act and valor as thou art in desire? Wouldst thou have that which thou esteemed the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem, letting I dare not wait upon I would, like the poor cat in the adage?
Prithee, peace. I dare do all that may become a man. Who dares do more is none.
What beast was it then that made you break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man. And to be more than what you were, you would be so much more the man. Nor time nor place did then adhere, and yet you would make both. They have made themselves, and that their fitness now does unmake you. I have given suck, and know how tender 'tis to love the babe that milks me. I would, while he was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from his boneless gums and dashed the brains out, had I so sworn to do so as you have done to this.
If we should fail?
We fail. But screw your courage to the sticking place and will not fail. when Duncan is asleep, whereto the rather shall his day's hard journey soundly invite him, his 2 chamberlains will I with wine and with sails so convince that memory. The warder of the brain shall be a fume, and the receipt of reason a limbeck only, when in swinish sleep their drenched natures lie as in a death. What cannot you and I perform upon the unguarded Duncan? What not put upon his spongy officers, who shall bear the guilt of our great quell?
Will it not be received when we have marked with blood those sleepy 2 of his own chamber, and used their very daggers that they've done?
Who dares receive it other? As we shall make our griefs and clamor roar upon his death.
I am settled, and bend up each corporal agent to this terrible feat. Away, and mock the time with fairest show. False face must hide what the false heart doth know.
A heavy summons lies like lead upon me, and yet I will not sleep. Lest from powers restraining me, the curse of thoughts nature gives way to in repose. Who's there?
A friend.
What, sir? Not yet at rest? The king's abed? He hath been an unusual pleasure, and sent forth a great largesse to your offices. I dreamt last night of the 3 weird sisters. To you they have showed some promise.
I think not of them. Yet when we can entreat an hour to serve, we might spend it in some words upon that business, if you would grant the time.
At your kindest leisure.
If you shall cleave to my consent when 'tis, it shall make honor for you.
So I lose none in seeking to augment it, but still keep my bosom franchised and allegiances clear. I shall be counted.
Good repose the while.
Thanks, sir. The likes to you.
I'll pray, my mistress. When my drink is ready, you strike upon the bell. The king's abed. Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle toward my hand? Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, yet I see thee still. Art thou not sensible to feeling as to sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation proceeding from the heat-oppressed brain? I see thee yet, in form as palpable as this which now I draw. Thou marshalst me the way that I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes were made the fool, so the other senses were else worth all the rest. I see thee still, and on thy blade in dudgeon gouts of blood, which was not so before. There is no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs thus to mine eyes. Now o'er the one half-world nature seems dead, and wicked dreams abuse the curtained sleep. Witchcraft celebrates pale Hecate's offerings, and withered murder, alarmed by his sentinel, the wolf whose howls his watch, thus with his stealthy pace, with Tarquin's rash ravishing strides towards his design, moves like a ghost. Thou sure and firm set earth, hear not my steps, which way they walk, for fear thy very stones prate of my whereabouts, and take the present horror from the time which now suits with it. Whiles I threat he lives, Words to the heat of deeds too cold breath gives. I go, and it is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a knell which summons thee to heaven or to hell.
That which hath made them drunk hath made me bold. What hath quenched them hath given me fire. Hark! Peace. It was the owl that shrieked, the fatal bellman which gives the sternest good night. He is about it. The doors are open, and the surfeited grooms do mock their charge with snores. I've drugged their possets that death and nature do contend about them whether they live or die.
Is there? What hope?
Alack, I'm afraid they have awakened and 'tis not done. The attempt and not the deed confounds us. Hark, I laid their daggers ready. He could not miss them. Had he not resembled my father as he slept, I had done it. My husband.
They've done their deed. Didst thou not hear a noise?
I heard the owl scream and the crickets cry. Did not you speak?
When?
Now.
As I descended?
I.
Hark! Who lies in the second chamber?
Donalbain.
This is a sorry sight.
A foolish thought to say a sorry sight.
There's one did laugh in sleep, and one cried murder that they did wake each other. I stood and heard them, but they did say their prayers and addressed them again to sleep.
They're two lodged together.
One cried, God bless us, and amen the other. As they had seen me with these hangman's hands, listening their fear, I could not say amen when they did say God bless us.
Consider it not so deeply.
But wherefore could not I pronounce amen? I had most need of blessing, and amen stuck in my throat.
These deeds must not be thought after these ways, so it will make us mad.
Methought I heard a voice cry, sleep no more. Macbeth does murder sleep, the innocent sleep. Sleep that knits up the raveled sleeve of care, the death of each day's life, sore labor's bath, balm of hurt minds, great nature's second course, chief nourisher in life's feast.
What do you mean?
Still it cried, sleep no more to all the house. Glamis hath murdered sleep, and therefore Cawdor shall sleep no more. Macbeth shall sleep no more.
Who was it that thus cried? Why, worthy Thane, you do unbend your noble strength to think so brain-sickly of things. Go, get some water, and wash this filthy witness from your hand. Why have you brought the daggers from the place? They must lie there. Go, carry them, and smear the sleepy grooms with blood.
I'll go no more. I'm afraid to think what I have done. Look on't again, I dare not.
Infirm of purpose, give me the daggers. The sleeping and the dead but are as pictures. 'Tis the eye of childhood that fears a painted devil. If he do bleed, I'll gild the faces of the grooms withal, for it must seem their guilt.
Whence is that knocking? How is't with me when every noise appalls me? What hands are here? Hath it pluck out mine eyes? Will all great Neptune's oceans wash this blood clean from my hand? No. This my hand will rather the multitudinous seas in incarnadine, making the green one red.
My hands are of your color, but I shame to wear hearts so white. I hear knocking. South entry. Retire we to our chamber. A little water clears us of this deed. How easy it is then. Your constancy hath left you unattended. Hark, more knocking. Get on your nightgown, lest occasion call us and show us to be watchers. Be not lost so poorly in your thoughts.
To know my deed, 'twere best not to know myself. Wake, Duncan, with thy knocking! I would thou couldst!
Here's a knocking indeed. If a man were porter of Hellgate, he should have all turning the key.
Knock, knock, knock. Who's there in the name of Beelzebub? Here's a farmer who hung himself in the expectation of plenty. Come in time, have napkins now about you. Here, you'll sweat for it.
Knock, knock. Who's there, the other devil's name? Hey, here's an equivocator that could swear in both scales against either scale, who's committed treason enough for God's sake, but could not equivocate to heaven. Oh, come in, great equivocator.
Knock, knock, knock. Who's there? Faith, here's an English tailor come hither, for stealing out of a French hose. Come in, tailor. Here you may roast your goose.
Knock, knock. Never act quiet. What are you? This place is too cold for hell. I'll devil witch it no further. I had thought to let in some of all the professions that go the primrose way to the everlasting bonfire.
Was it so late, friends, ere you went to bed that you do lie so late? Wake you, Macbeth. Our knocking has awaked him. Here he comes.
Good morrow, noble sir.
Good morrow, both.
Is the king stirring, worthy Devine?
Not yet.
He did command me to call timely on him. I have almost slipped the hour.
I'll bring you to him.
I know this is a joyful trouble to you, but yet 'tis one.
The labor we delight in physics pain. Here's the door.
I'll make so bold to call for it. 'Tis my limited service.
Goes the king hence today.
He does. He did appoint so.
The night has been unruly. Where we lay, our chimneys were blown down, and as they say, lamenting sort of the air of strange prophesying with accents terrible, of dire combustion, and confused events new found to the woeful time. The obscure bird clamoured all the livelong night. Some say the earth was feverish and did shake.
'Twas a rough night.
My young remembrance cannot parallel a fellow to it.
Oh, horror, horror, horror! Tongue nor heart cannot conceive nor name thee.
What's the matter?
Most sacrilegious murder broke up the Lord's anointed temple and stole thence the life of the building.
What is to say? The life?
News to his majesty.
Approach the chamber and destroy your sight with the new gorgon. Do not bid me speak. See and then speak yourselves. Awake! Awake! Ring the alarm bell! Murder and treason! Banquo and Donalbain, Malcolm, awake! Shake off this downy sleep, death's counterfeit, and look on death itself! Up, up, and see the great doom's image! Malcolm, Banquo, as from your graves rise up and look to countenance this horror! Ring the bell!
What's the business that such a hideous trumpet calls to parley the sleepers of the house? Speak! Speak!
Oh, gentle lady, 'tis not for you to hear what I can speak. The repetition in a lady's ear would murder as it fell. Oh, Banquo, Banquo, a royal master's murdered.
Well, alas, what in our house?
Oh, too cruel anywhere. Dear Duff, I pray thee, contradict thyself and say it is not so. Had I but died an hour before this chance, I had lived a blessed time. For from this instant there's nothing serious in mortality. All is but toys. Renown and grace is dead. The wine of life is drawn, and the mere lees is left this vault to brag of.
What's amiss?
You, Malcolm, and do not note, the spring, the head, the fountain of your blood is stopped. The very source of it is stopped.
Your royal father's murdered.
Oh, by whom?
Those of his chambers that seemed to done it. Their hands and faces were all badged with blood. So too were their daggers, which unwiped we found upon their pillows. They stared and were distracted. No man's life was to be trusted with them.
Oh, yet I do repent me of my fury that I did kill them.
Wherefore did you so?
Who could be wise, amazed, temperate, and furious, loyal and neutral in a moment? No man. The expedition by violent love outrun the pause or reason. Here lay Duncan, his silver skin laced with his golden blood, and his gash stabs looked like a breach in nature for ruin's wasteful entrance. There, the murderers steeped in the colors of their trade, their daggers unmannerly breached with gore. Who could refrain that had a heart to love, and ends that heart courage to make love known?
Help me too!
Look to the lady.
Why do I hold my tongue that most may claim this argument for mine own? What should be spoken here, wherein my fate, hidden in augur hole, may rush and seize me? I'll away,
My tears are not yet brewed, nor my strong sorrow upon the foot of motion.
Look to the lady. And when we have our naked frailties hid that suffer in exposure, let us meet and question this most bloody piece of work to know it further. Fears and scruples shake us. In the hand of God I stand, and thence against the undivulged pretense I fight of treasonous malice.
And so do I.
So all. Let us briefly put on manly readiness and meet to the hall together.
Well contended.
What shall I do? I'll not consort with them. To show an unfelt sorrow is an office which the false one does easy. I'll to England. There's daggers in men's smiles, the near in blood, the nearer bloody. This murderous shaft that shot hath not yet lighted, and my safest way is to avoid the aim. Therefore to horse, and let me not be dainty of this leave-taking, but shift away. There's warrant in the theft which steals itself when there's no mercy left.
They see it not who did this bloody deed. Those that are dead, bloody Macbeth hath slain. Malcolm has fled, which puts upon her suspicion of the deed. The sovereignty will fall upon Macbeth. I will away to Fife, lest bloody chance arise and take my life.
Thou hast said now, King, Cawdor, Glamis, all, as the weird women promised, and I fear thou playedst most foully for it. Yet it was said it should not stand in thy posterity, but that myself shall be the root and father of many kings. If there come any truth from them as upon thee, Macbeth, their speeches shine. Why, by the verities on thee made good, should they not be my oracles as well, and set me up in hope? But hush, no more.
Here's our chief guest.
If he had been forgotten, it had been as a gap in our great feast, and all thing unbecoming.
Tonight we hold a solemn supper, sir, and I'll request your presence.
Let your highness command upon me, to the which my duties are with the most indissoluble tie, forever knit.
Ride you this afternoon?
Aye, my good lord.
We would have else desired your good advice, which still hath been both grave and prosperous in this day's council, but we'll take tomorrow. Is't far you ride?
As far, my lord, thou filled the time twixt this and supper. Go not my horse the better. I shall become a borrower of the night, for a dark hour or twain.
Fail not our feast.
My lord, I will not.
We hear our bloody cousin is bestowed in England, not confessing their patricide, but cruelly filling the ears of others with strange invention. But of that tomorrow, when therewithal we shall have cause of state craving us jointly. Hie you to horse, adieu, till you return at night. Goes your son with you?
Aye, my good lord. Our time does call upon us.
I wish your horses swift and sure of foot, and so I commend you to their backs. Farewell. Let everyone be master of their time, till 7 at night. To make society the sweeter welcome, we'll keep ourselves till supper time alone. While then, God be with you. I'll send for one to mend my present state. To be thus is nothing, but to be safely thus. Our fears in Banquo stick deep, and in his royalty of nature reigns that which would be feared. 'Tis much he dares, and to that dauntless temper of his mind he hath a wisdom that doth guide his valor to act in safety. There's none but he whose being I do fear, and under him my genius is rebuked. As it is said, Marc Antony's was by Caesar. He chid the sisters when first they put the name of king upon me and bade them speak to him. Then, prophet-like, they hailed him father to a line of kings. Upon my head they placed a fruitless crown, put a barren scepter in my gripe, thence to be wrenched with an unlineal hand, no son of mine succeeding. If to be so, for Banquo's issue have I filed my mind. For them, the gracious Duncan, have I murdered, put rancors in the vessel of my peace, only for them, and mine eternal jewel, given to the common enemy of man, to make them kings, the seed of Banquo kings! Rather than so, come fate into the list, and champion me to the utterance. How now? Was it not yesterday we spoke together?
It was, so please, your highness.
Well then, now, have you considered my offers? You well know Banquo was your enemy.
True, my lord.
And so is he mine, and in such bloody distance that every minute of his being thrusts against my nearest of life. And though I could, with barefaced power, sweep him from my sight and bid my will avouch it, yet I must not, for certain friends that are both his and mine, whose loves I may not drop, but wail his fall, who I myself struck down. And thence it is that I to your assistance do make love, masking the business from the common eye for sundry weighty reasons.
I shall, my lord, perform what you command. Though my life shine...
Your spirit shine through you. Within this hour at most, I will advise you where to plant yourself, acquaint you with the perfect spy of the time, the moment on't, for it must be done tonight, and something from the palace. Always thought that I require a clearness, and with him to leave no rubs nor botches in the work. Fleon's his son, that keeps him company, whose absence is no less material to me than is his father's, must embrace the fate of that dark hour. Resolve yourself apart. I'll come to you anon.
I am resolved, my lord.
It is concluded. Banquo, thy soul's flight, if it find heaven, must find it out tonight.
Banquo, gone from court, returns again tonight. 'Tis safer to be that which we destroy than by destruction dwell in doubtful joy. How now, my lord? Why do you keep alone? Of sorriest fancies your companions making, using those thoughts which should indeed have died with them they think on? Things without all remedy should be without regard. What's done is done.
We have scotched the snake, not killed it. She'll close and be herself, whilst our poor malice remains in danger of her former too. But let the frame of things disjoint. Both the worlds suffer, ere we will eat our meal in fear and sleep in the affliction of these terrible dreams that shake us nightly. Better be with the dead, whom we, to gain our peace, have sent to peace, than on the tortured mind to lie in restless ecstasy. Duncan is in his grave. After life's fitful fever, he sleeps well. Treason has done his worst, nor steel, nor poison, malice domestic, foreign leaving, nothing can touch him further.
Gentle, my lord, sleek over your rugged looks. Be bright and jovial among your guests tonight.
So shall I love, and so I pray be you. Let your remembrance apply to Banquo. Present him eminence, both with eye and tongue. Unsafe the while that we must lave our honors in these flattering streams and make our faces vizards to our hearts, disguising what they are.
You must leave this.
Oh, full of scorpions is my mind, dear wife. Thou knowst that Banquo and his Fleance lives.
But in them nature's copies not a turn.
There's comfort yet. They are assailable. Then be thou jocund. Ere the bat hath flown his cloistered flight, ere to black Hecate's the summons the shard-born beetle with his drowsy hums hath rung night's yawning peal, there shall be done a deed of dreadful note.
What's to be done?
Be innocent of the knowledge, dearest Chuck, till thou applaud the deed. Come, sealing night, scarf up the tender eye of pitiful day, and with thy bloody and invisible hand cancel and tear to pieces that great bond which keeps me pale. Light thickens, and the crow makes wing to the rooky wood. Good things of day begin to droop and drowse, while night's black agents to their praise do rouse. Thou marvelst at my words, but hold thee still. Things bad begun make strong themselves by ill. So prithee, go with me.
Banquo and Fleance were out in the open, in the wide, wide open, and as the murderers gazed upon them, they grew furious.
Banquo and Fleance could see nothing. A fog had descended preciously upon their damned spot.
I say, there came to their ears a low, dull, quick sound, such as feet do make upon the earth.
Banquo knew that sound well, too. He heard the beating of his soldier's heart. It increased in pace as the beating of a drum stimulates the soldier into courage.
Banquo and Fleance paused and kept very still. They scarcely breathed.
Fleance held the lantern motionless.
Meantime, the hellish trio began to descend upon them. Their pace grew quicker and quicker, the steps louder and louder every instant.
Fleance's terror must have been extreme. Banquo's heartbeat grew louder and louder every moment.
And now, at the dead hour of the night, amid the dreadful silence of that old wood, Banquo excited into an uncontrollable terror.
Oh, treachery! Fly, good Fleance, fly, fly, fly! Thou mayest revenge, he said.
The old soldier's hour had come. With a loud yell, the murderers drew out their swords and leaped out from the darkness. Banquo shrieked once, and once only. In an instant, the murderers dragged him to the floor and stabbed their heavy blades into him.
They smiled gaily and looked around to find the deed so far done. But as they glanced, they noticed their error. Young Fleance was on the run.
There's but one dead. The sun is fled. We have lost half of our affair.
Well, let's away and say how much is done.
Banquo was dead, and Fleance gone. The murderers left to carry word of their deed, anon.
Most hearty welcome to all.
Thanks to your majesty.
Ourself will mingle with society and play the humble host. Our hostess keeps her state, but in best time we shall require her welcome.
Announce it for me, sir, to all our friends, for my heart speaks they are welcome.
See they encounter thee with their heart's thanks. Both sides are even. Here, I'll stand in the midst. Be large in mirth. Anon we will drink a measure, the table round. There's blood on thy face.
'Tis Banquo's then.
'Tis better thee without than he within. Is he dispatched?
My lord, his throat is cut. That I did for him.
Thou art the best of the cutthroats, yet he's good that did the like for Fleance. If thou didst it, thou art the non-pariah.
Most royal sir, Fleance has escaped.
Then comes my fit again. I had else been perfect, whole as the marble, founded as the rock, as broad and general as the casing air. But now I'm cabined, cribbed, confined, and bound into saucy doubts and fears. But Banquo's safe?
Aye, my good lord, safe in a ditch he bides, with 20 trench cuts on his head, the least a death to nature.
Thanks for that. There the grown serpent lies, the worm that's fled hath nature that in time will venom breed. No teeth for the present. Get thee gone. Tomorrow we'll hear ourselves again.
My royal lord, you do not give the cheer. The feast that is sold is not often vouched, and while 'tis a making, 'tis given with welcome.
Sweet remembrance. Here had we now our country's honor roofed, were the grace person of Banquo present, who may I rather challenge for unkindness than pity for mischance.
His absence, sir, lays blame upon his promise. Please it your highness to bless us with your royal presence.
Which of you have done this?
What, my good lord?
What is it that moves his majesty?
Thou canst not say I did it. Never shake thy gory locks at me!
Gentlemen, rise. His highness is not well.
Stay, worthy friends. My lord is often thus, and hath been from his youth. Upon a thought he will again be well. If you so much as note him, you shall offend him, and extend his passion. Drink, and regard him not. Are you a man?
I, and a bold one that dare look on that which might appall the devil.
Oh, proper stuff. This is the very painting of your fear. This is the air-drawn dagger which you said led you to Duncan. Oh, these flaws and starts, imposture to true fear, would well become a woman's story at a winter's fire, authorized by her grandam. Why do you make such faces? When all's done, you look but on a stool.
Prithee, see there! Behold, look, lo! How say you? Why, what care I? If thou canst not speak to, if charnel houses in our graves send those that we bury back, or monuments shall be the maws of kites.
What, quite unmanned in folly?
If I stand here, I saw him.
Fie for shame.
Blood hath been shed ere now, in the olden time, ere human statute purged the gentle wheel. Aye, and since too, murders have been performed, too terrible for the ear. The times have been that, when the brains were out, the man would die, and there an end. But now, they rise again, with 20 mortal murders on their crowns, and push us from our stools. This is more strange than such a murder is.
My worthy lord, your noble friends do lack you.
I do forget. Do not muse at me, my most worthy friends. I have a strange infirmity which is nothing to those that know me. Come, love and health to all, then I'll sit down. Give me some wine, fill full, I drink to the general joy of the whole table. And to our dear friend Banquo, whom we miss, would he were here. To all and him we thirst, and all to all.
Our duties and the pledge.
Avaunt, and quit my sight! Let the earth hide thee. Thy bones are marrowless, thy blood is cold. Thou hast no speculation in those eyes which thou dost glare with.
Think of this, good peers, but as a thing of custom. 'Tis no other, only it spoils the pleasure of the time.
What man dare, I dare. Approach thou like the rugged Russian bear, the armed rhinoceros, or the high-cred tiger. Take any shape but that, and my firm nerves shall never tremble. Or be alive again, and dare me to the desert with thy sword. If trembling I inhabit, then protest me the baby of a girl. Hence, horrible shadow, unreal mockery, hence! Why so, being gone, I am a man again. Pray you sit still.
You have displaced the mirth, broke the good meeting with the most admired disorder.
Can such things be and overcome us like a summer's cloud without our special wonder? You make me strange, even to the disposition that I owe, and now I think you can behold such sights and keep the natural ruby of your cheeks when mine is blanched with fear.
What sights, my lord?
I pray you, speak not. He grows worse and worse. Question enrages him. At once, good night. Stand not upon the order of your going, but go at once.
Good night, and better health attend his majesty.
A kind good night to all.
Blood, blood, they say. Blood will have blood. Stones have been known to move, and trees to speak. Augurs and understood relations have by magpies and choughs and rooks brought forth the secrets man of blood. What is the night?
Almost at odds with morning. Which is which?
How sayst thou that Macduff denies his person at our great bidding?
Did you send him, sir?
I hear it by the way, but I will send. There's not a one of them, but in his house I keep a servant feeding. I will tomorrow, and betimes I will, to the weird sisters. More shall they speak, for now I am bent to know by the worst means the worst. For mine own good, all causes shall give way. I am in blood steps so far that, should I weigh no more, returning were as tedious as go o'er. Oh, strange things I have in head that will to hand, which must be acted ere they may be scanned.
You lack the seasons of nature, sleep.
Come, we'll to sleep. My strange and self-abuse is the initiate fear that wants hard use. We are yet but young indeed.
Thrice the brinded cat hath mewed.
Thrice and once the hedge pig whined.
Harp your cries, 'tis time, 'tis time.
Round about the cauldron go, in the poisoned entrails throw. Toad that under cold stone, days and nights has 31, sweltered venom and sleeping gut, boil thou first in the charmed pot. Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Fillet of a fenny snake in the cauldron boil and bake. Eye of newt and toe of frog, wool of bat and tongue of dog. Adder's fork and blind worm sting, lizard leg and owlet wing. For a charm of powerful trouble, like a hell broth boil and bubble.
Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Scale of dragon, tooth of wolf, witch's mummy, maw and gulf, of the ravened salt sea shark, root of hemlock, digged in the dark, finger of birth, strangled babe, ditch delivered by a drab, make the gruel thick and slab. Add thereto a tiger's chaudron for the ingredients of our cauldron. Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Cool it with a baboon's blood, then the charm is firm and good. By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes. Open locks, whoever knocks.
How now, you secret black and midnight hags? What is you do?
A deed without a name.
I conjure you by that which you profess. However you come to know it, answer me. Though you untie the winds and let them fight against the churches, though the yeasty waves confound and swallow navigation up, though bladed corn be lodged and trees blown down, though castles topple on their warders' heads, though palaces and pyramids do slope their heads to their foundations, though the treasure of nature's Germans tumble all together, even till destruction sicken, answer me to what I ask you.
Speak.
Demand.
We'll answer.
Say if thou dost rather hear it from our mouths or from our masters.
Come, let me see.
Pour in sow's blood that hath eaten her 9 pharaoh. Grease sweating from a murderer gibbets throw into the flame. Come high or low, thyself and office deftly show.
Tell me, thou unknown power.
I knows thy thought. Hear my speech, but say thou not. Macbeth, Macbeth! Macbeth! Beware, Macduff, the Thane of Fife! Dismiss me, enough!
Whate'er thou art for thy good caution, thanks. Thou hast harped my fear aright. But one word more.
She will not be commanded. Here's another more potent than the first. Macbeth, Macbeth, Macbeth.
And 3 years I'll hear thee.
Be bloody, bold, and resolute. Laugh to scorn the power of man, for none of a woman born shall harm Macbeth.
Then live Macduff? What need I fear of thee? Yet I'll make assurance double sure, and take a bond of fate. Thou shalt not live, that I may tell pale-hearted fear it lies, and sleep in spite of thunder.
Listen now. Be lion-mettled proud, and take no care who chafes, who frets, or where conspirers are. For Macbeth shall never vanquished be, till great Burnham would to high Dunsinane Hill come against him.
That will never be. Who can impress the forest, bid the tree unfix his earthbound root? Sweet bodements, good! Rebellion's head, rise never till the wood of Burnham rise, and our high-placed Macbeth shall live the lease of nature, pay his breath to time and mortal custom. Yet my heart throbs to know one thing. Tell me, if your art can tell so much, shall Banquo's issue ever reign in this kingdom?
Seek to know no more.
I will be satisfied. Deny me this, and an eternal curse fall on you. Let me know.
Show!
Show his eyes and grieve his heart.
Come like shadows, so depart.
Horrible sight! Now I see, 'tis true. For the blood-boltered Banquo smiles at me and points at them for his. The Thane of Fife has fled and left behind her wife. What, is this so?
Aye, sir, all this is so. But why stands Macbeth thus amazedly? Come, sisters, cheer we up his sprites, and show him the best of our delights. I'll charm the air to give it sound, while you perform your antic round, that this great king may kindly say, our duties did his welcome pay.
Where are they? Gone? Let this pernicious hour stand accursed in the calendar. The castle of Macduff I will surprise, seize upon Fife, give to the edge of the sword her wife, her babes, and all unfortunate souls that trace her in her line. No boasting like a fool. This deed I'll do before this purpose cool.
Upon the night, the murderers arrive outside the castle of the Thane of Fife. Macduff hath fled, leaving behind her babes and her wife.
A mother holds her children, kissing them each good night. A faint sound rings in the darkness amidst the candlelight.
It's nothing, she says to her babes. It's nothing but the wind in the chimney. It's only a mouse crossing the floor. It's merely a cricket which has made a single chirp.
By this time the noise had ceased, but the party rushed up flights of stairs, arriving at the nursery.
The murderers went boldly within the chamber. Their dark shadows stalked before them and enveloped their victims.
Who's there? The mother muttered. What are these faces I see?
With no weapon to fight, no feeling but fright, the mother and her babes succumbed to the night.
Let us seek out some desolate shade, and there weep our sad bosoms empty.
Let us rather hold fast the mortal sword, and like good folk bestride our downfall and birthdom. Each new morn new widows howl, new orphans cry, new sorrows strike heaven on the face, that it resounds as if it felt with Scotland and yelled out like syllable of dolor.
What I believe I'll wail, What no believe and what I can redress, as I shall find the time to friend, I will. What you have spoke, it may be so. Perchance, this tyrant whose sole name blisters our tongues was once thought honest. You have loved him well. He hath not touched you yet, but something you may deserve of him through me, and wisdom to offer up a weak, poor, innocent lamb to appease an angry god.
I am not treacherous.
But Macbeth is. A good and virtuous nature may recoil in an imperial charge, but I shall crave your pardon, that which your my thoughts cannot transpose. Angels are bright still, though the brightest fell, though all things foul should wear the brows of grace, though grace must still look so.
I have lost my hopes.
Perchance, even where I did find my doubts. Why in that rawness left you wife and child? Those precious motives, those strong knots of love without leave taking? I pray you, let my jealousies be not your dishonors, but mine own safeties. You may be rightly just, whatever I shall think.
Bleed, poor country. Great tyranny. Lay thou thy basest shore, for goodness dare not check thee. Wear thou thy wrongs, the title is afeard. Fare thee well, lord. It would not be the villain that thou think'st, for the whole space that is in the tyrant's grasp, and the rich east to boot.
Be not offended. I speak not in absolute fear of you. I think our country sinks beneath the yoke. It weeps, it bleeds, and each new day a gash is added to her wounds. I think withal there would be hands uplifted in my right, and hear from gracious England of goodly thousands. But for all this, when I shall tread upon the tyrant's head, or wear it upon my sword, yet my country shall have more vices than it did before, more suffer and more sundry ways than ever, by one that shall succeed.
What should they be?
It is myself, I mean, in whom the particulars of vice so grafted that when opened, dark Macbeth will seem as pure as snow, and the poor state esteem him as a lamb compared to my confineless harms.
Not in the legions of horrid hell can come a devil more damned in evils to top Macbeth.
I grant him bloody, luxurious, avaricious, false, deceitful, sudden, malicious, smacking of every sin that has a name. But there is no bottom, none. In my voluptuousness, your wives, your daughters, your matrons, your maidens could not fill up the cistern of my lust in all content impediments that would bear. Better Macbeth than such an one to reign.
Boundless intemperance in nature is a tyranny. It hath been the untimely emptying of the happy throne and fall of many kings. Yet do not fear to take upon you what is yours. You may convey your pleasures in a spacious plenty, and yet seem cold the time you may so hoodwink. We have willing dames enough. There cannot be that vulture in you to devour so many as will to greatness dedicate themselves, finding it so inclined.
With this there grows, in my most ill-composed impediments, such a stoneless avarice that, were I queen, I should cut off the nobles of their lands, desire his jewels and this other's house, and my more having would be such as a sauce to make me hunger more, that I should forge quarrels unjust with the good and loyal, destroying them for wealth.
This avarice sticks deeper, grows with more pernicious root than summer-singing lust, and it hath been the sword of our slain kings. Yet do not fear, Scotland hath foitions to fill up your will. Of your mere own, all these are portable, with other graces weighed.
But I have none. The queen becoming graces such as justice, verity, stableness, temperance, bounty, perseverance, mercy, lowliness, devotion, patience, courage, fortitude, I relish none of them, but abound me in the division of each several crime, acting in many ways. Nay, had I power, I should pour the sweet milk of concord to hell, uproar the universal peace, confound all unity on earth.
Oh, Scotland, Scotland!
If such an one be fit to govern, speak. I am as I have spoken.
Fit to govern? No, not to live. O nation miserable, with an untitled tyrant bloody sceptred, when shalt thou see thy wholesome days again? Since that the truest issue of thy throne by their own interdiction stands accursed and does blaspheme their breed? Thy royal father was a most sainted king. The queen that bore thee more oftener upon her knees than on her feet died every day she lived. Fare thee well. These evils thou repeatst upon thyself have banished me from Scotland. Oh, my breast, thy hope ends here.
Macduff, child of integrity, hath from my soul wiped the black scruples, reconciled my thoughts to thy good truth and honor. Devilish Macbeth by many of these trains has sought to win me into his power, and modest wisdom plucks me from over-credulous haste. But God above, deal between thee and me, for even now I put myself to thy own direction, and unspeak my own detraction. Here abjure the taints and blames I lay upon myself for strangers to my nature. I am yet unknown to woman, never was forsworn, scarcely coveted what was mine own, and no time broke my faith, would not betray the devil to his fellow, and delight no less in truth and life. My first false speaking was this upon myself: what I am truly is thine, and my poor country's to command. Whether indeed before thy here approach, old seaward, with 10,000 warlike men already at a point, was setting forth. Now will together, and the chance of goodness be like our warranted quarrel. Why are you silent?
Such welcome and unwelcome things at once, 'tis hard to reconcile. See, who comes here?
It is my countryman, yet I know him not.
My ever-gentle cousin, welcome hither.
I know him now. Good God, but times remove the means that make us strangers.
Sir, amen.
Stand Scotland where it did?
Alas, poor country, almost afraid to know itself, it cannot be called our mothers, but our graves, where nothing but who knows nothing is once seen to smile, where sighs and groans and shrieks are made not marked, where violent sorrow seems a modern ecstasy, and the dead men's knell is there scarce asked. For who? And good men's lives expire before the flowers in their caps, dying or ere they sicken.
Oh, relation, too nice and yet too true.
What's the newest grief?
That of an hour's age doth hiss the speaker. Each minute teems a new one.
How does my wife?
Why, well.
And all my children?
Well, too.
The tyrant has not battered at their peace?
No, they were well at peace when I did leave them. When I came hither to bear these tidings, which I have heavily borne, there ran a rumor of many worthy fellows out, which was to my belief witnessed, rather than I saw the tyrant's power afoot. Now is the time of help. Your eye in Scotland would create soldiers, make our ladies fight to doff their dire distresses.
Be it their comfort, we are coming thither. Gracious England has lent us good seaward in 10,000 men, and older and better soldier none that Christendom gives out.
Would I could answer this comfort with the like, but I have words that would be howled into the desert air where hearing should not latch them.
What concern they? The general cause, or is it a fee grief due to some single breast?
No mind that's honest, but in it shares some woe. Though, the main part pertains to you alone.
If it be mine, keep it not from me. Quickly, let me have it.
Let not your ears despise my tongue forever, which shall lay upon them the heaviest sound they ever yet heard.
I guess at it.
Your castle is surprised. Your wife and babes savagely slaughtered. To relate the matter were on the murders of these dear, to add the death of you.
Merciful heaven.
My children too?
Women, children, servants, all that could be found.
And I must be from thence. My wife killed too?
I have said.
Be comforted. Let us make medicines of our great revenge to cure this deadly grief.
He has no children. All my pretty ones? Do you say all? Oh, Hellkite. All? What, all my pretty chickens and their dam at one fell swoop?
Dispute it like a man.
I shall do so, but I must also feel it as a woman. I cannot but remember such things were that were most precious to me. Did heaven look on and would not take their part? Sinful Macduff, they were all struck for thee. Not that I am. Not for their own demerits, but for mine, fell slaughter on their souls. Heaven rest them now.
Be this the whetstone of your sword. Let grief convert to anger, blunt not the heart, enrage it.
Oh, I could play the lady with mine eye and braggart with my tongue. Gentle heavens, cut short all intermission. Front to front bring thou this fiend of Scotland and myself. Within my sword's reach set him. And if he escape, heaven forgive him too.
This tune goes manly. Come, we go to the king. Our power is ready, our lack is nothing but our leave. Macbeth is ripe for the shaking, and the powers above put on their instruments. Receive what cheer you may, the night is long that never finds the day.
I have 2 nights watched with you, but can perceive no truth to your report. When was it she last walked?
Since His Majesty went into the field, I have seen her raise from her bed, throw her nightgown upon her, go to her closet, take forth paper, fold it, write on it, seal it, and then again return to bed. Yet all this while in a most fast asleep.
Great perturbation in nature, to receive at once the benefit of sleep and do the effects of walking. In her slumbery agitation, besides walking and other actual performances, what at any time have you heard her say?
That, doctor, which I will not report on. Observe her. Look close.
You see her eyes are open.
Aye, but her sense is shut.
What is it she does now? Look how she rubs her hands.
It is an accustomed action with her to seem thus washing her hands. I have known her to continue this for a quarter of an hour.
Yet, here's a spot! Out, dear spot! Out, I say! 1, 2, why then, 'tis time to do it. Hell is murky. Fie, my lord, fie! A soldier and a feared. What need we no fear when none can call our power to account? Yet, who would have thought the old man had so much blood in him?
Do you mark that?
The thing of faith had a wife. Where is she now? What will these hands never be clean? No more or that, my lord. No more or that, you mar all this with your starting.
He has seen what she should not. That I am sure of.
Here's a smell of blood still. All the perfumes of Arabia could not sweeten this little hand. Oh, oh, oh!
What a sigh is there? The heart is sorely charged. This disease is beyond my practice. Yet I have known those to which who have walked in their sleep, who have died hollowly in their beds.
Go, get some water, get on your nightgown, look not so pale, I tell you yet again. Then close buried, he cannot come out unscathed.
Even so?
To bed, to bed, I hear knocking at the gate. Come, 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 give me your hand, what's done cannot be undone. To bed, to bed, to bed.
Will she go now to bed?
Directly.
Foul whisperings are abroad. Unnatural deeds do breed unnatural troubles. Infected minds to their deaf pillows will discharge their secrets. More she needs the divine than the physician. God, God help us all. Look after her. My mind she has mated and amazed my sight. I think, but dare not speak.
Good night, good doctor.
It is impossible to say how first the English army began to gather, but once conceived, it traveled day and night.
They are led on by Malcolm and the good Macduff. Revenge was their object, passion burned for their dear cause.
Near Burnham Wood shall they meet, and from there move to Dunsinane.
Macbeth grows weary, his castle he fortifies. Now does he feel his secret murders sticking to his hands.
Bring me no more reports. Let them fly all. Till Burnham Wood do come to Dunsinane, I cannot take the field. What's the child Malcolm? Were they not born of woman? The spirits that know all mortal consequences have pronounced me thus. Fear not, Macbeth. No one that's born of woman shall e'er have power upon thee. Then fly, false thanes, and mingle with the English epicures. The mind I sway by, the heart I bear, shall never sag with doubt nor shake with fear. Servant reports 10,000 English soldiers marching. Satan! Oh, I'm sick at heart when I behold. Satan, I say! Oh, this push will cheer me ever or deceit me now. I have lived long enough. My way of life is fallen into the sea, the yellow reef, and that which should accompany old age, as honor, love, obedience, troops of friends, I must not look to have. But in their stead, curses, not loud but deep, mouth honor breath, which the poor heart would fain deny and dare not. Satan!
What is your gracious pleasure?
What news more?
All is confirmed, my lord, which was reported. 10,000 English soldiers do march here.
I'll fight till from my bones my flesh be hacked. Give me mine armor.
Is not needed yet.
I'll put it on. Send out more horses. Scour the country round. Hang those that talk of fear. Give me mine armor. How does your patient, doctor?
Not so sick, my lord, as she is troubled with thick-coming fancies that keep her from rest.
Cure her of that. Canst thou not minister to a mind diseased, pluck from the memory a rooted sorrow, raise out the written troubles of the brain, and with some sweet oblivious antidote, cleanse the stuffed bosom of that perilous stuff which weighs upon the heart?
Therein the patient must minister to herself.
Throw physic to the dogs, I'll none of it. Satan, send out. Doctor, the thanes fly from me. Come, sir, dispatch. If thou couldst, doctor, cast the water of my land, find her disease, and purge it to a sound and pristine health, I would applaud thee to the very echo that should applaud again. Pulled off, I say. I will not be afraid of death and bane till Burnham Forest come to Dunsinane.
You should have seen the English army arrive to Burnham Wood. You should have seen how wisely they proceeded, with what caution, with what foresight, with what dissimulation they went to work.
For every soldier with an axe cut him down a bough. They worked in haste and took the fallen trees for the concealment of their bodies.
So cunningly that no human eye could have detected anything amiss.
When they had made an end of these labors, they each held before them a natural shield, masking their nature.
They then set out, at Malcolm's request, to Dunsinane, there to greet Macbeth.
Hang out our banners on the outward walls. The cry is still, they come. Our castle's strength will lap the siege to scorn. Here let them lie, till famine and the ague eat them up. Were they not forced with those that should be ours, we might have let them dare, beard to beard, beat them backward home. What is that noise?
It is the cry of woman, my good lord.
I have almost forgotten the taste of fears. Time has been, my senses would have cooled to hear a night shriek, and my fellow hair at a dismal treatise rouse and stir as life were it. I have supped full with horrors. Direness, familiar to my slaughterous thoughts, cannot once start me. Wherefore was that cry?
The queen, my lord, is dead.
She should have died hereafter. There would have been time for such a word. Tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle. Life is but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
Gracious my lord, I should report that which I say I saw as I look upon the hill. I looked towards Burnham, and anon, methought the wood began to move.
Liar and slave!
Let me endure your wrath, if it be not so. Within this 3 mile, may you see it coming, I say, a moving grove.
If thou speakst false, upon the next tree shalt thou hang alive till famine cling thee. If thy speech be sooth, I care not if thou dost for me as much. I pull in resolution and begin to doubt the equivocation of the fiend that lies like truth. Fear not, till Burnham Wood do come to Dunsany. And now a wood comes toward Dunsany. Arm and out! If this which he avouches does appear, there's nor flying hence nor tarrying here. Begin to be aweary of the sun, and wish the estate of the world were now undone. Ring the alarum bell! Blow wind, come rat! At least we'll die with harness on our back.
After they had marched a long time, very patiently holding their wooded shields, they arrived outside the castle walls.
They threw down their bows, showing their true nature, and announced their arrival.
They made all their trumpets speak, giving them all breath, the clamorous harbingers of blood and death.
They have tied me to a stake. I cannot fly, but bear-like I must fight the course. What's he that's born of woman? Such am I to fear or none.
That way the noises. Tyrant, show thy face! If thou beest slain, and by no stroke of mine, my wife and children's ghosts will haunt me still. Let me find him fate, more I beg not.
Turn, hellhound, turn!
Of all men else have I avoided thee. But get thee back. My soul is too much charged with blood of thine already.
I have no words.
My voice is in my sword, thou bloodier villain than terms can give thee out.
Thou losest labor. As easy mayst thou the entrenchant air with thy keen sword impress as make me bleed. Let fall thy blade on vulnerable breasts. I bear a charmed life, which must not yield to one of womanhood.
To spare thy charm, and let the angel that thou still hast served tell thee, Macduff was from her mother's womb untimely ripped.
Accursed be the tongue that tells me so, for it hath cowed my better part of man. And be these juggling fiends no more believed, that palter with us in a double sense, and keep the word of promise to our ear and break it to our hope. I'll not fight with thee.
Then yield thee, coward, and live to be the show and gaze of the time. We'll have thee as our rarer monsters are, painted on a pole and underwrit, here may you see the tyrant.
I will not yield to kiss the ground before young Malcolm's feet, and to be baited with the rabble's curse. Though Burnham would be come to Dunsinane, and thou opposed, being of no woman born, yet I will try the last. Before my body I throw my warlike shield. Lay on, Macduff, and damned be them that first cries, hold enough!
Yet I will try the last. Before my body I throw my warlike shield. Lay on, Macduff, and damned be him who first cries, hold enough.
Now the hurly-burly's done. Now the battle's lost and won.
Macduff removed the usurper's head. Thus ends our tale of blood and dread.
We did drain them dry as hay. Sleep no more, Macbeth, that thou did say. The weird sisters, hand in hand, hosters of the sea and land, thus did go about, thrice to thine, and thrice to mine, and thrice again to make up nine. Peace, the charm wound up.
you